So turn around this way. I can't do this another way. So anyway, tell me your name.
David McAdams.
Okay, and you came in what year?
I joined SRF in '54.
What year did you get Korea?
I did a Korea bond in '55.
Wow. And what made you come into the teaching?
That's a long story. It'll take more than 1/20th of a second. I saw a book by the autobiography of a yogi shortly after I got out of college, and got the book, and that's when it all started. Excuse me. Now tell me, how'd you meet these other ministers?
Well, I met them upstairs, and I used to do video, and I'm always amazed when I see people of color, because this is not a Technicolor place, and I mean, in the early days we were few in numbers. So especially when I see men, I'm always impressed. And they were telling me that they have been on the path about 5 years.
Okay, but I want to see your face. I don't see your face with that in front of you.
But it's okay. I'm recording you, and you're looking just as handsome. If you came in '54, and this is 2019, you could tell you've been doing something well. So you telling me that you practice in Illinois?
Yeah.
Back in the day, wasn't there?
I was not in Illinois when I joined.
But do you go to a group in Illinois?
I went to, I was at Howard, and I read about when I graduated from Howard, that's when I came in contact. And shortly after that, I went in service, Air Force in Texas. Excuse me. Yeah, Texas.
Okay.
And I moved around the country. Texas, California, and then Maine. I was in Maine about 15 months. Then after Maine, I moved on down to New York. I stayed there for 20-some years. Then came back home to Illinois.
So are you part of a group there?
Huh?
Is it a group there in Illinois?
There is, but I don't attend it. There are probably more than one, but I don't go because conflict of time. They had been meeting at the time I was in church.
So now tell me, how do you think Master used you to be a minister and also a devotee?
Certain problems that had come up, and with me, and then I see it in a lot of African American men and a lot of other people. Question of identity: who am I, and why am I here, and so forth. My best answers came through yoga. So
I love that. That's the best explanation that I have ever heard.
Yeah.
Because when we came in the 60s, many of the people who came had issues when they got there because it couldn't coddle you and give you a sense of a manhood if you didn't come with it.
Yeah.
So when you first came to meditate, they would say, meditation, don't spill it, come out, and you didn't talk. So if you needed more than that, you would come to the wrong place. So to hear you say that yoga gave you a sense of who you are, no one's ever said that before. I love it. Elaborate.
I think I became aware of something other than traditional Christianity. The way it was presented to you. When I was in my teens, I did not believe everything that I heard in the church. I said, there's got to be more to it than this. And I remember telling the pastor, a part of the message that you're preaching You know, I understand, but I don't go for all of this. Cuts out too many people.
So
And
then how would you be, did you go to theology school?
I did not go to theology school. I went to Bible school years later.
Do you combine, when you are officiating, do you combine your sense of yoga with your parishioners?
Not not too easily, because many of them, come from traditional beliefs. Your original question, I had asked myself that same thing. Why would the Lord use me at this point in my life to be a pastor of a church? And I said there are certain problems that people have. A lot of them are dissatisfied with all that they hear, and really don't have the knowledge or the info or the courage to seek further. So I've been on both sides there, and I have been of help.
Well, I went to theology school, and I only went because my grandfather was a minister. My mom was Jehovah's Witness.
A what? Holy?
Jehovah's Witness.
Uh-huh.
And
Boy,
I came from
combination.
such fanatical people, my family Muslim. And I wanted to learn all comparative religions so that I could see God everywhere and not get caught up, and this is the only way he could come. But because we accept Christ in our teaching, I could see how Christ used you, along with Master,
Yeah.
to be able to be of service, because that's what it's about. It's about being of service.
Yeah.
But making sure, though, that you do your career and all the things you're supposed to do. Do
Yeah.
you? Yeah, because see, you could get lost. And that's the biggest problem we have, is being distracted.
Maintaining a balance.
Maintaining the balance.
I don't care what you would have to do. You would still have to maintain a balance between the inner life and the outer service. You would may have to maintain a balance.
Ooh, bring it home, honey. Bring it home. I'm loving it.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think this particular convocation is so special because we've come decades. For us to come decades with this teaching, this is not a normal everyday thing. To see such credible people who were thinking people come into this teaching. This is not like you was some emotional person going to seek Daddy Grace or Father Divine. This is way beyond that, don't you think?
Sure. Yeah, but obviously. I know I wouldn't have been in with it this long if that's all there had been to it. Because you have a lot of other belief systems where you have those approaches, both in Christianity and in other belief systems. I said there's more to it than this. And anytime I hear in the presentation of these other beliefs, it's too exclusive, I said, no, that's not for me, and that's not the way Christ was. Even before I was aware of yoga, I could not believe that he had set aside a few 100,000 people here and everybody else going to hell. No.
And I was wondering, my mother was very advanced, but they fed her that it would only be 144,000
That's why
out
I
of all
mentioned
the
that.
people on the world.
Isn't that ridiculous?
And then different people thought that the only reason that they believe is that so that they can go to paradise, which I'm not thinking about that. And that's what people do. They have a goal, and it's out of fear-based. It's a fear-based goal. What'd you say?
I said that was one thing that turned me off from that anyway. And then even in Bible school, I had fun with that. Because I had long been involved in yoga and the teachings before I went to Bible school. One of the requirements for this advanced course was a thesis on the book of Revelation. And I said to myself, I'm going to have me some fun. And the first three chapters in Revelation, I brought out the Eastern view.
Ooh.
And the teacher said, Now, Brother McAdams, you know this is not going to work.
No, but let me tell you, when they let me go to theology school, Master let me go. I didn't go to be a minister because I know my place. But I needed to hear all the things that people weren't telling us. And when we got to the book of Revelation, it's a dream. That's why people don't talk about it. Because many people can't interpret what he dreamt. That's why you don't talk about the 7 candlesticks, the 7, the this and the that. You'd have to be very intuitive and led to really comprehend the book of Revelations. And you don't find that many people speaking on it. They speak on all of it, but hardly on the book of Revelations.
When they do speak on the book of Revelation, it's this programmed belief that is very secure for a certain number of people.
Keep talking to her. She's recording you. She's recording you.
Yeah, so I got to do this.
Oh, sorry, I know her.
It's okay. We just want to
Okay.
finish. All right. So when
Yeah.
they do speak on it, what?
Yeah, they have this pre-organized plan of success for a certain number of people. And I said, that's ridiculous. And anyway, I finished the thesis according to the plan that they had outlined. But she knew where I was coming from.
So all
Yeah.
total, how many years? I can't do the math. How many years have you been on the path?
Well, I joined in 54.
And this is 2019, and you're a college grad. So how many years is that? I'm not going to do the math. You're not going to make me do the math. What's the math?
Okay, with the 54 is 46 was 24, 66 years.
Well, let me tell you, I came in 1969, and this is 2019. So you got some on me, and we're both smiling and both in our bodies, and I tell you, it's wonderful because when we're home, where all our places that we live, we don't always get a chance to have these conversations. Am I right?
You're right.
We can't even tell people, a lot of people, what we belong to because even in 2019, it's still foreign. They would think we were worshiping a man.
I find a way to inject a bit of this in my message.
How do you do that?
Well, they have problems.
I know they do.
And when they have problems, I give them the best counseling I have. Possibilities.
Do you preach every Sunday?
As long as you keep your mind boxed up in this way, you can only think in terms of what's going on within that box. Okay. So what's that? That other think beyond the borders. Think beyond the box. So consider other alternatives that are out of your usual thinking habits. I guess that's one way to put it.
Well, I'm going to be in touch with you, and I was going to give you so that there's a film crew that was filming, but I have decided I can't wait for them, and what we have gotten today should be shared. So can you just say your name?
My name is David McAdams.
And you live?
And what?
Where do you live?
Oh, Rock Island, Illinois.
Okay, and thank you so very much.
And thank you.
Bye-bye.